this isn't the first time you've collaborated. So can you tell us where the story came from between the pair of you?
It really just came, from us, trying to kind of discover ourselves as filmmakers in a way after Your Next, because up until that point we had kind of had to choose our projects based on what we could get funding for. And after we sold Your Next to Lionsgate and had our first modest success with that, we were able to kind of think differently in terms of way of choosing the projects. And this came about really because we just wanted to do something ultimately that kind of represented, why we wanted to become filmmakers in the first place, and that really is based on all these like 80s Carpenter films and movies like The Terminator and a lot of other obscure stuff, but it really started with wanting to make a movie about our love of films in some ways.
You're dealing with a character who's got the kind of psychopathic tendencies, should we say. So how much of that kind of psychology as a writer do you have to then kind of look into to build a convincing character in?
It's funny. Dan Stevens during production actually gave me a copy of John Ronson's The Psychopath Test, because he's like a huge fan of that book. I'm actually just now got around to reading it, which speaks to my lifestyle. It's honestly a lot of fun to write characters like that. And if you look at a lot of heroes in cinema, like Batman or whatever, Batman's clearly a psychopath. It's just we all for some reason pretend that he's not, so we can make a very big budget film about him. So every hero in any kind of genre film is pretty much insane and a sociopath, if not an outright psychopath. So it's just a lot of fun to kind of explore that and not try to hide it and be here's the actual consequences of kind of rooting for this type of villain. It's a lot of fun to actually write that kind of character who you can just inject him into a scene and know that he's going to do something entertaining.
And you've got great casting as well. I mean, you've cast a man that looks like an angel, which is really very clever because it makes him even more sinister, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that was the whole point, is we needed to cast somebody who could subvert the audience's expectations of who they were, similarly to the way the character is with the family, because it was important that it was somebody who is instantly and effortlessly charming and likable, so that the family would trust him and let him in, and then plus I think it's more fun to kind of see somebody turn into a movie star in the way that I think that Dan does as an action star with this thing, than it is to just kind of get another actor and throw him into that role that you expect, and that's kind of the whole point of the project. It's is doing something where we're taking your expectations on one thing and flipping it around.